What's up, guys? My name's Jesse. Welcome to the 7 Acre Homestead. Today is week 6 for these chickens, and this is our first time doing broiler chickens. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go through everything that I've noticed and I've seen and how we got up to this point, because I really haven't made any videos up to this point. Because really it's been about the same thing every week. But here the feed is up in the last week or two, so we're gonna go ahead and show you all that. So I have about 50 chickens, a little over 50 chickens in this 10 by 12 chicken brooder that me and my wife built. And it took a few days to build, but it's now working just how we need it. They're all on fresh grass, as you can tell, and you can see, I'll show you here in a minute, the way they've worked this pasture as we've had them on here. And they've seemed to like being on grass way better than when they were in the brooder. More space, fresh air, more sunlight. So yeah, I'll go in here, and first thing we're gonna do today is we're gonna just get a weight. I haven't weighed these chickens at all in the 6 weeks that we've fed them. Today is the actual first start of the 6 weeks. So we'll butcher here in about 3 weeks, but we're gonna go ahead and get a weight on just 2 chickens, 2 random chickens, just see where they're at. I'm gonna try to pick a big one and a small one just to kind of get a rough average here. I'm gonna turn the scale on here. No. Alright, we're gonna put this box on here. We're gonna zero it out. Alright, let's see what he weighs. Check. Alright, so that's what we're reading for the first one. Alright, that's what the second one is weighing. So about 1.8 pounds. Alright guys, so there you go. So it looks like the bigger one weighed about a pound, a little over a pound, and the smaller one was just under a pound. So we're about a pound. Like I said, it's the start of week 6. So by the start of week 7, we should be close to 2 pounds. That comes back to feed. I just fed them this morning around 7:30, and their feed looks like it's just about out. So I'll go ahead and show you what we're feeding them. But that goes back to, you know, how you feed them. So how we're choosing to feed these chickens is 12 hours on, 12 hours off. So at 7:30 tonight will be the last, whatever they have in there will be the last what they have for the night. And there's another way to do it where you have a set amount each day you feed them, and whenever they run that amount out, they're done. But I want these chickens to eat as much as they can in their 12-hour window. That way we have the maximum amount of gains on these chickens. Now broilers are kind of touchy because you don't want to gain too much to where they're having problems with sudden death syndrome, or they're dying out at week 7 or week 8. So there is a fine line there, but we do want our maximum amount of gains for our feed that we're feeding. So we'll go ahead and go show you what we're feeding. So let's talk about this feed for a second. So I ordered this feed from New Country Organics. I actually ordered it from a dealer here in Houston. It was through Wabash Feed and Garden. And I went in there, I called them, I placed my order. This is 1,000 pounds of chicken feed here. So in these next 3 weeks that we're gonna feed them, they're supposed to eat around 300 pounds total, maybe almost close to 400 pounds. So that's one thing to think about when you go to do these chickens. You need to have your feed ready to go. And that's one mistake we made. When we put these chicks out at 4 weeks on pasture, we were still feeding them crumble, and my feed still was not in. So order your feed ahead of time. That way when these chickens go to pasture and they're ready to get off crumble, and get onto what they're going to be feeding the rest of their cycle, that you have that already in stock. So this did come in at week 5, so we were only a week behind, but still, you know, when you pay for this feed ahead of time, you're counting that into your total cost. And if it's late, you know, you're having to go run to the feed store and just buy bag by bag just to hold you over until your feed that you already accounted for comes in. So, but this feed is real, it's all organic. And you can see, just get a handful of it. I mean, all the soybeans, got a little bit of corn in there. You know, you got some grit, a little bit of everything in there. And I've really been happy with the New Country Organics feed. And where I'm at in Texas, you know, I live on the coast and I don't live close to any feed mills. We're about 45 miles from the beach. So my only option is to order. And I've looked online thoroughly through multiple feed websites. And really the New Country Organics is what I found, to me, is what looks like the best feed possible to feed your chickens while on grass. So I think it's good that they're on grass. They eat all the critters. They eat, you know, all the little bugs in the grass. They're comfortable, and on top of supplementing with New Country Organics, I think, to me, that's a best of both worlds approach. Another thing I wanted to talk about real quick, just while we're on the topic of raising broilers, is water. You gotta have clean, fresh water. So here's my water I've been using. It's got cups, so it allows the water to fill. It's got a nice deep bowl, allows them to get a nice clean drink of water. And they've been going through this probably 2 or 3 times a day now. So you need to keep on top of it. That's one thing about these broilers, is they do take a lot of husbandry whenever they start to grow this fast. So you have to be on top of it. It's almost like a baby, really. You got to come out here every 2-3 hours and check on them. And if they need their food refilled, refill it. If they need their water refilled, refill it. So that also goes back to weather and when to get these birds. So I live here, like I said, on the coast in Texas. And I was kind of thinking when the best time to get these birds were, because in Texas it gets super hot. It gets super hot in Texas really fast. I've been told they don't do very well with extreme heat, and I've been told they don't do very well with extreme cold. So I got these birds at the beginning or the end of March. And so at that time, it's still kind of chilly here in Texas, 40s, 50s. But they've seemed to do just fine in that weather out here on pasture. We had a cold front in April where the same kind of weather came in, and they did just fine there too, outside, no heat lamp. They were fine. And now it's 70, 80 degrees constantly, morning and evening. So that seems to be about the perfect temperature for them. So we may do another batch of birds in the fall, but we definitely aren't going to do anything in the summer just because I think it's too hot. But maybe September, October, November, that time frame, since it's only about 2 months, that'd be another perfect time frame for Texas broilers, and get another batch to fill our freezers. And the last thing I really want to touch on, really, that I can think about, is moving these birds. You can see they're on fresh grass right now. They just got moved from overnight. Moved them first thing this morning, and I'll probably move them again here about noon, and possibly one more time around 5. It's critical that they stay on fresh, clean grass. It's better for their health. It's better for them to forage. It's just better all around. It's also better for the pasture. It doesn't completely drain that section of pasture that they're on. And I'll show you, I'll flip this camera around right now and I'll show you kind of what it looks like the past few days. So this is the past few days. You can tell over here is the stuff they haven't touched yet. And you can tell right here is where they've been coming down for the past week, maybe 2 weeks. And all this pasture over here, if I need to rest, I can rest and save it for them. But I really think by the time they come back on this side, it'll be close to butcher time. This is about a 3-acre pasture they're on, but they're only using maybe half an acre worth of length. But you can see all up and down here where they've been, you know. And like I said, if you're getting to where there's bald spots on the grass, you're waiting too long to move them. These birds need to be moved almost every 6 hours, 8 hours. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with us. That's our 6-week update. I'll have another update next week when we start week 7. And follow us on Instagram, YouTube. Give us a subscribe, and come back next week, and we'll talk about week 7 and what I'm seeing and how these birds are doing. Thank y'all.